Patriots. They're in a bye week right now. They closed out their first half of the season with the Chargers win. And 6-2 sounds really good, but, being in that press conference Sunday after that win, it barely sounded like a win. They're talking about their stalled offense, their defense still growing to be consistent. When this team comes back for the second half of the regular season, what do they need to do to prove that, they are the strongest team?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a grind all season long. I really do. I don't think they're going to all of a sudden come in and be that Patriot team that we've seen the last few years. Just sort of, walk into a place and have their way. I think it's going to be like that Chargers game type of game most of the way, and I think that's because, they've been hit hard by injuries, and their depth is hurting a little bit right now. But, I think they're still figuring things out. And I mean, if there's one strength, well, there's a lot of strengths to Belichick teams, but one of the big ones that we always harp on is that they get better as the season goes on. And, November and December, they're playing better football than anybody else. And, I don't really think you can doubt that because it's been proven over the years. It's just, it's more of you got to get the eye test going here because, what you've seen in the first 8 games isn't what you've been accustomed to seeing the last couple of years. So, it'll be interesting to see if they can get a little bit over that hump of struggling just about every week.
And Jimmy G obviously being shipped out to San Francisco. Just from your perspective and your writer's perspective, what has Pats Nation kind of had to say about that? It seems like people at first were kind of like, what are you doing? Our quarterback is 40, but, they trust in Belichick.
Right. I mean, the way that his contract was playing out, they were going to have to make a really big decision at the end of the year if they were going to keep him. And, that decision may have had something to do with who was going to play. I mean, and it just, as Belichick said, it wasn't feasible. It just didn't work out. And I think he traded him for what he thought he could get at the time. And with the way Brady's playing, it's hard not to do that. It's hard to say that this guy who's only played, a handful of games, Garoppolo, is the guy that you want to turn your entire franchise over at the end of the season when Brady's still playing at such a high level, even though he's 40.
And allegedly sleeping in a special, hyperbolic
who knows what
suit with no technology in his bedroom. I mean, he seems invested in the future. So
he does. I mean, I think, that's a huge part of Tom Brady is that, he's just not riding out the wave. He's, taking every game, every practice as seriously as any player in the league. I think that goes a long way in the decisions that the Patriots make.
And allegedly going to bed at 9 p.m. So maybe
we all do that.
Yeah, why not?